and Your Excellency, retired Brigadier Julius Madabio, Cabinet Ministers, government functionaries, commissioners and staff of the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone, all other important personalities, good morning. I say a very good morning to Mrs. Jensina King. Your Excellency, on behalf of the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone, it is an honor to present to you the 12th and 13th editions of the State of Human Rights Report in Sierra Leone, as required by Section 24(1)A of the Human Rights Commissions Act of 2004, which states that the Commission should publish an annual report to the state of human rights in Sierra Leone. The report highlights ways in which the fundamental rights and freedoms contained in the Constitution and in the international and regional agreements to which Sierra Leone is a party have been observed, violated, as well as steps taken by the Commission to protect and promote human rights, including results of individual complaints investigated and interventions and recommendations made by the Commission. Your Excellency, since the appointment as Commissioners in April 2019, we are pleased to state that the information contained in these reports have been drawn from human rights observations, monitoring, investigations, stakeholders and other community engagements by commissioners and staff. We have assessed the human rights situation in Sierra Leone, looking at the human rights framework, which talks about laws put in place to promote and protect human rights, structures put in place where people can access their rights, structures serving as redress mechanisms for people to access rights when they feel that their rights have been violated or abused, and steps taken progressively by the government in ensuring that it meets its minimum call for human rights protection and promotion in the country. Your Excellency, through our complaints handling functions, the HRSCL recorded an increase in the complaints from 178 in 2018 to 326 in 2019, including mobile complaints. This is to a large extent mainly due to our robust human rights awareness drive and the confidence we have built for right holders to access our services in all regional offices. Success stories of our interventions are documented in these two reports. We established a new Directorate for Gender and Children's Affairs to address cases of women, children, and other vulnerable groups, conducted 9 correctional center tours, and engaged appropriate authorities on our findings, held human rights awareness raising and public education sessions in schools and communities, and further established school clubs with the aim of building the culture of human rights as per HRSCL's vision. We established an office in Port Loko to service the Northwest region as required by the provisions in our regionalization policy and the need to do so. HRSCL now holds an executive position in the network of national human rights institutions for West Africa for the first time. It is worthy also to note that these new set of commissioners have brought back the Commission's additional partners to support our work, example, the Irish Aid and UNDP. Just to give a brief of some of the issues highlighted on the civil and political rights, the death penalty moratorium is still in place. In relation to freedom of the press, this right was fully enjoyed. Operations of TV, newspaper houses, and radio stations went unhindered. We did not observe, neither did we get any information on the closure of operations by state functionaries. Conditions of detention facilities. We note the efforts of the judiciary to decongest the correctional centers through its increase in court sittings, mobile court settings, and more judges to facilitate access to justice. Efforts to provide vocational training facilities in some correctional centers as per human rights standards were also noted. We however draw attention to the fact that overcrowding remains an issue and the limited number of remand home facilities for children. Despite the challenges, we noted the good work of some of the FSUs across the country in addressing sexual and gender-based violence cases, but also noted the very appalling condition of some police cells across the country. In relation to the deprivation of property, it was noted that some communities were deprived of their homes and lands by the Ministry of Lands without compensation. On issues related to women and children's rights, in 2019, the HRSCL notes the review of the Sexual Offences Act 2012 as amended, which now gives more stringent measures to perpetrators of rape and sexual penetration. This being one of the diverse approaches by the government to curb the menace and also strengthening victims' access to justice is highly noted by the Commission. We note the blatant violation of children's rights contrary to the provisions in the Child Rights Act of 2007 against harmful additional practices on children who are not in a position to make decisions single-handedly. Despite government's ratification of the Maputo Protocol over the years and the provisions highlighted in the Act, the practice remains and perpetrators go unpunished. On issues related to economic and social rights, HRSCL notes the review of the National Employment Policy, the new Industrial and Social Security Court, the ratification of 11 ILO conventions geared towards improving work in Sierra Leone and also protecting Sierra Leoneans by seeking employment abroad. We, however, note the non-enjoyment of these rights by workers, especially in mining, construction, and private security companies, observed by complaints received and our monitoring activities by the Business and Human Rights Units of the Commission. We note government's allocation of 21% of its budget to enable the Ministry of Education provide government and government-assisted schools with teaching and learning materials. We note the increase in number of pupils now attending schools, the recruitment of teachers, thus expanding work opportunities for more people. We, however, note the limited number of core textbooks in some schools, of which the availability constitutes one basic element for the enjoyment of the right to education. We note the widespread discrimination of practices in the country. In line with the Abuja Declaration, we note government's increase to 11% of its yearly budget to the health sector. The Commission observed the construction and refurbishment of hospitals and health centers in some parts of the country, distribution of ambulances, expansion of the free health care drugs to old people and also Ebola survivors. In spite of government's projected increase to the water sector, access to clean and safe drinking water remains challenged for many people across the country. We also note setbacks in the enjoyment of the rights for persons with disability in accessing education and the learning environment of especially pupils and students of the blind school. It is worthy to note that despite the challenges, the enjoyment of rights has progressively moved on, and I urge the government to continue its commitment to progress in this endeavor. Let me state that these reports hopefully will assist ministries of government in their continuing review and implementation of the particular human rights matters that fall within their individual mandates. The few recommendations provided in these reports are intended for the consideration of targeted ministries and other agencies. I'd like to express my gratitude to our partners, the Human Rights Working Group, Human Rights Defenders Network, the District Human Rights Committee, the Referral Partnership Group, other community people for their contributions to the work of the Commission. We hope these reports will be useful resource for future goal setting and realigning of priorities in their respective organizations to ensure that people in Sierra Leone live in a society where human rights of everyone is respected. Your Excellency, despite the successes made by the Commission, it is worthy to note that we are also burdened with challenges, but we have not allowed our challenges to overcome us. We have continued with our work. However, it is worthy to bring them to your attention as there are strong potential hindrances for effective service delivery. There are staff, vehicles, and also budgetary allocation. In relation to staffing issues, a recent institutional capacity assessment of the Commission revealed the urgent need for the recruitment of 100 professional staff from an ideal of 300 to enable the Commission effectively deliver on its mandate in the country. Our 6 offices, headquarters and regional, we have only 58 staff, which is extremely inadequate. In view of such a professional staffing challenge, and as the Chief Human Rights Defender and Protector, we respectfully call on your intervention to grant the Commission approval for the recruitment of 50 staff by early 2021, and another 50 by the end of 2022. The Commission is yet to benefit from any vehicle allocation from government since it commenced operations in 2008. Current vehicles provided since the days of the NIPSIL have outlived their roadworthiness. Importantly, the work of the Commission requires the availability of vehicles to ensure the rapid response to the many out there who await our intervention. The lack thereof of vehicles has been seriously affecting our operations. Inadequate budget allocation. While we appreciate the continued financial support to the Commission, we wish to accentuate that the budgetary allocation to the Commission is extremely inadequate and falls below what is requested for its operations. Moreover, in line with the Paris Principles, national human rights institutions are rated from the point of view of government support to the work of the Commission. The current financial situation of the Commission poses a challenge. To conclude, the Commission calls on government for the abolition of the death penalty and also to reactivate the constitutional review process. Secondly, we strongly call on the government to support the process of the development of a national human rights action plan that will bring all stakeholders in the promotion and protection of human rights in the country. I thank you very much.